Welcome back to Escape from 100 Million BC. We're playing with the Botanist right here and the Reporter. And so let's just get into it. The Botanist, whose name is Johan Wilder, is player number 1. He's going to go first, and he's not going to move anywhere because he is in the same space right now as Amelia Earhart. And so he will try to influence her to join him. So how this is going to work, her distrust level here is 3. So she's going to be rolling 3 dice. And our botanist's willpower is 5. So he'll be rolling 5 dice to try to convince her to join him. So let's go ahead and roll that up. We're going to start with Amelia. So we're going to see her distrust level. And a 4, 5, and 6 is a success. And she basically rolls 0. So she does not distrust the Botanist at all. Well, he doesn't even need to roll because if you tie, and he gets at least 1. So no problem at all. If you tie, you win the challenge. So Amelia Earhart will join the Botanist. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look at her card. So she joins him, and it says gain 1 extra movement point while Amelia is with you. So he now has an extra movement point. So instead of having 3 movement, he's going to have 4, which is actually pretty good. And of course, the standee for Amelia will go away to possibly be used when another time castaway appears. So because he's had an encounter with a time castaway, that's the end of his turn. He's not going to move anymore. Over we go now to our reporter. All right, so the reporter's here, 1 space away from the volcano where our crash time machine is. He does have a time machine part, so we could move back here and give the professor the time machine part, but that would end his turn, which would be extremely, I guess, uneventful. But we would get our first time machine piece on the board, or he can continue exploring. I think we're going to wimp out. He's going to just move 1 space. He has a movement of 4, and that's going to end his movement when you cash in your time machine piece. So let's go to the time machine board and add that in there and see how we're doing. Right, so we're playing on the wimpy level. So we just need to find 6 time machine pieces to repair the time machine. We have our first of 6. And that's how that works. That's basically the end of the Botanist and Reporter's turn. Back to the main board, and we're going to have the Paradox turn. All right, for the Paradox turn, we roll 1 red, 1 white die. And we're going to look, we're going to look at the results, which are not too good. Well, right now, we don't have any rifts open at all. So the 1 and 2 are not open. Paradox is not going to increase at all. We have no time castaways or any dinosaurs on the activity track, which is down here, so there will be no movement. However, we have to look at the temporal instability number, which is a 5 right now. We've rolled equal to or less than 5, which means we are going to have a rift opening, which, okay, is what's going to happen. So we have these rift tokens here, and we just sort of randomly grab one of them, and we're going to take a look and see which rift has opened. And it is number 6. Well, the number 6 rift is right over here. And now what do we do? Well, now we have a time castaway showing up on rift number 6, and we get Daniel Boone coming through. It's pretty cool. And he's going to appear 4 spaces in that direction away from that time rift. And before Daniel Boone encounters a creature, roll a die. On a 4+, he kills it with his rifle. Because normally if a dinosaur and a castaway meet, the dinosaur will kill the castaway. +2 to brawn checks when Daniel is with you. So, and he's a time paradox of 2. So if he's left behind, he's going to cause our paradox tracker to go up 2 spaces. All right, so that's Daniel Boone. He's number 6, so we're going to have to get the number 6 standee out on the board. And we're going to place it 4 spaces away from that rift location opening, which actually is very beneficial for us. 4 spaces is going to be 1, 2, 3. He shows up right there behind our player, so that's pretty cool. And that was very quickly an entire round, and I know I'd said I was just going to do 1 round per episode, but that went so quickly, I think we can easily get in a second round. So we're going to come back. We're going to have our botanist taking their turn again. All right, so we have our botanist here. Now he's got the highest willpower, so he's the best one to try and recruit the time castaways. So we're going to have him move up here into the Daniel Boone space. So he has a movement of 4 +1 now for Amelia. So he had movement of 3 +1 for Amelia, has a movement of 4. So he's going to go 1 and 2. But of course, when he goes into an unexplored space like that, we have to flip a tile because a lot of other things may happen. And it is a totally blank tile, which is actually quite good. All right, so he is now in here. He's found Daniel Boone, who's just showed up so close to us. And now we're going to have the opposed roll for him to try to influence Daniel Boone to join him. And of course, he has a distrust level of 3. So, and once again, our botanist has a willpower of 5. So it's going to be 3 versus 5. So let's get rolling some dice and see if we can have Daniel Boone joining him as well as Amelia Earhart. All right, 3 dice for Daniel Boone. And he only gets 1 success. Okay. So all we need to do is get 1 success on 5 dice for the botanist, and Daniel Boone will join him. All right, and we get 3 right there, and the 6s are re-rolls, so no problem at all. Our botanist convinces Daniel Boone to join him, so this will go away. And now Daniel Boone is part of the botanist's little group. And it's going to give him +2 brawn checks while Daniel is with him. So that's cool. Now the idea here is we want to get Daniel Boone back through the rift that he came out of. And that will drop our paradox tracker down by 1. And it will, if it can, but they can't go past the paradox rift marker locations on the track. Okay, well that was a very good turn for the botanist. And so up next, we're going to have the reporter go, Jake Stern. All right, so Jake is here. I think we're just going to have him start moving, I don't know, maybe down into the plains area here. So he has a movement of 4. So he's going to move 1 space here. And we move into the tile location, and it is a completely blank tile. So, and his ability is to rotate a tile clockwise or counterclockwise once when he moves into a space. However, this is a totally blank space, so we're not have to, now the idea is we either have to go this way or this way. I think because our botanist is going to try to get Daniel Boone over here, I think we're going to have our reporter going this way. So he's going to move into the plains, and token for the plains is a flower. So he's going to get an extra willpower, and he can rotate this clockwise or counterclockwise. Does he want to do it? I don't think he's going to rotate it. I think he's just going to leave it open on these 2 sides and this one partially blocked. So that was 2 movement for him, and he gets an extra willpower for the flower, so that's pretty cool. Now he has 4, and he's used 2 of his 4 movement, so he'll continue on. So he will move into this plains location. All right, that's his 3rd movement. And it is a herbivore that he runs into. And does he want to rotate this any way? If he rotates it like that, I think he's going to rotate it once this way, so that he can go into the jungle here and then continue going into the plains this way. So that's a special ability. He gets to rotate it once clockwise or counterclockwise when he explores a new tile. However, he must now have an encounter with a herbivore. So let's have a look and see what he gets. Oh, and yeah, I will be butchering all the names. I will let you read that. Parasaurolophus. Sorry about that. Horribly brutalized. Okay, well, it doesn't have any brawn and movement, so it says, eyeing you nervously, the Parodopilus ambles away, discard this card. So it doesn't want to deal with us. Wow, so it was basically a non-encounter. It just saw us and goes away. Now that's going to go in the discard pile because it was not killed, and it just wanders off. But that's going to end our turn, because once you encounter a time castaway or a dinosaur or have an adventure, you can no longer move. So that was it. Up next, and I think for the end of this episode, we will do the paradox turn. And that'll be it. So let me just readjust the camera a little bit and we'll roll up for the paradox. All right, so we're going to be rolling 2 dice again. Of course, we know how this works now. A red die and a white die, and we want a high roll. We roll a 4 and a 3, which is actually quite excellent because the only rift that is open right now is 6. So we didn't roll a 6 on either of these die, which means our paradox tracker will not increase at all. 3 would be for movement of any dinosaurs or time castaways on the activity track, but we don't have any, so there will be no movement. And next we add the 2 dice together, which is a 7, which is greater than our temporal instability currently, which is sitting at 5. So we're not going to get another rift opening. And that, I think we're going to conclude for the day. We have 1 timepiece in our time machine now, back to the professor. We need 6 to be able to gate our way out of here. I think we'll take one quick look down at our botanist character and at the reporter as we end off this episode, so you can have a look at the items they have and take a look at their abilities and stuff again, just so we refresh our memories for when we come back for the next episode tomorrow, where we continue. All right, so looking at the botanist here, he has 6 willpower or will tokens. He's got Amelia Earhart with him now, which gives him +1 movement all the time. So instead of the 3 movement, he's going to have 4. He now has Daniel Boone with him, but he's trying to get him back to that rift. He gives him a +2 over brawn checks, helping him out. And he also has the elephant gun, which has 2 ammo, which he hasn't used at all yet, has a repel ability, +3 brawn when doing combat checks. He has the survival guide, +1 to will checks. Which I haven't been using. He should be getting +1 when he's trying to influence time castaways. So I did that incorrectly. We should have been adding +1 to the check to try and influence. Because of the survival guide, he has the tasty snacks, which do nothing for him. The machete lets him chop through partially blocked trails for +1 will or +2 for a block trail. So that's our botanist in a nutshell. So we're doing pretty good so far. Let's take a look now at the reporter. And I guess we'll look at our paradox tracker a little bit. All right, so taking a look at our reporter, he has 4 will tokens now to be used for rerolls. He still has his pistol, hasn't used any of the 4 ammo on it. It has the repel ability, but we haven't run into any dinosaurs we need to try to repel. And he still has the running shoes, which gives him +1 to speed checks. Okay, that's basically it. Now, if we look at our paradox tracker, it hasn't moved at all, which is good. We haven't killed any dinosaurs. We haven't had any rolling of the dice on the paradox turn with an open rift to move this up. So far, so good, he says. And if we take a look here, we can see that our temporal instability number is a 5. All right, we're just going to zoom back in on the main board and we're going to wrap up for today. All right, so here we have our botanist still in the mountains. We have our reporters going out here onto the plains. We're looking for time machine parts. We need 6 of them to try to repair the time machine and get out of here. We also want to rifle through the equipment deck because any equipment left behind will increase our paradox level on the paradise. I keep calling it paradise, it's paradox track. So thanks so much for watching along. This is Escape from 100 Million BC. We're playing a 2-player game. Well, basically solitaire, you have to play 2 players. And so far we've been doing pretty well, but this is a pretty random game, can be pretty swingy, dice involved, lots of hostile encounters that we haven't had yet, but I'm sure that's going to be coming up. So thanks so much for watching along. Thanks to your subscriptions, your comments, your likes, very much appreciated. Join me next time for the continuation of Escape from 100 Million BC.